Now, you just spoke about the results of being patriotic. Now, at this stage, there's some critical question that you can ask yourself, and I am asking myself, and our viewers are probably asking ourselves. And the first one is, who am I in the context of patriotism? What has my country done for me? What have I done for my country? Why am I here? My purpose. President John F. Kennedy once said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And that is powerful. That is almost the essence of this entire book. This resolve explains the essence of what patriotism is all about. It is other centered, and it is other centered and not self-centered. So it's about other people, not me. It is outward and not inward. It is by all account about the greater good.
Okay. Here what we are espousing is we must first know, who am I? Who am I in the context of this entire universe?
Yes.
I'm a speck of 7.8 billion people.
Yes.
Nobody knows I'm here. If I go missing tomorrow, so what? Not true. Again, your DNA is special. It took so many sperm to fertilize that one egg that contained the DNA that made you, that you are special, and that's what I need to drive down and drill down so you truly understand it. What has my country done for me? It's a top-down look. Many times we don't want to take ownership of where we are.
Okay.
Who am I? I'm unemployed. You see how back up to the first question. Who am I? I'm on welfare. Who am I? I'm an unwed mother. Who am I? I'm a kid that doesn't have a father. Who am I? I'm a coach that has a failing record on team. Who am I? I'm a school system that students don't graduate from.
Right.
It's not just individual, it's global, as you say. Who am I? I'm a government that has people in all sects of life. The poor, the indigent, the destitute, the middle class, the wealthy. Who am I? That's a great question. Let's wrap our arms and our brains and our heads around that question and not ask, what has my country done for me?
Yes.
But then that gives me an out. That gives me an excuse. That gives me somewhere to put the blame.
Blame game.
If I can put the blame on someone else, then I'm not responsible, Dr. Halal.
Yes.
You can look at me and say, why are you begging Dr. Brooks? Here, take $1. Yes, it's not my fault. This is my lot in life. As long as I allow the blame game, allow to put the blame on the government, on someone else.
Right.
Anyone except me. It's my parents' fault. Who am I? You know, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and so I turned out the way I did. Well, these are anti-civilization things, but we've been taught them as though they were true.
Wow.
We've been taught them as though they were precepts and concepts, because here's something that you need to know. If you tell a lie long enough, you begin to believe it's true.
Right.
If you tell a lie long enough, you begin to believe it's true. Okay, that's on you. I don't tell lies, Dr. Brooks. You're right. If you're told a lie long enough, you'll begin to believe it. If you're told a lie long enough, you'll begin to believe it. How many times have our system or our someone in our schools or someone that we believed in or trusted in told us a line. They kept repeating that line. So much so that a generation later we believe that that's the lie. That lie is true.
Yes.
And we don't even know what the truth is. So we got to break that paradigm. We have to break that system down to understand I'm responsible for me.
Mm-hmm.
What have I done for my country? Nothing. Why would I do anything for my country? They haven't done a darn thing for me. We just discussed a few seconds ago.
Right.
Well, they never will if you don't do something for them.
Yes.
It's a bottom-up syndrome, not a top-down. Too long we've been living from top down. Hand me, hand me. I call it the feed me bird. Feed me, feed me. No.
Right.
I'm going to feed into that system and make it a better place to live. If I only make it a better place to live for me. Well, you said United and Untied in another chapter. Isn't that selfish? Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
But it's selfish in the right direction. It's not selfish to where I'm getting something at the expense of others. I'm providing a better me to the world. Because if I become better, my community becomes better. Wow. My family becomes better. So it's a bottom up. Okay? So once I become better, I'm a better father. I'm a better provider. I'm a better mother. I'm a better cook. I'm a better mentor to my kids or to some people in the community. My tribe is better because I'm better. So that's what I've done for you. And if it stops there, if it goes no further than you or your family or your tribe, if it stops there, if you don't better yourself, the world is still a better place.
Yes.
Because you've made it better.
Done something.
And if you take it further into the community and into the country, then even farther reaches. So you can see it can be as small as you want, or it can be as grand as you are bold. It can be as grand as you are bold. And why am I here? There's a couple of things I'd like to give you. There's a guy in the Torah and Jewish law called Moses. And he said, why am I here? Well, why am I here on this earth? Well, I didn't know. He was a baby that was given up for adoption. Pharaoh's daughter found him in the Nile River and picked him up and adopted him.
Yes.
So why am I here? He became a prince. Why am I here? He was educated with the top students of the world at that time.
Yes.
Why am I here? He was second in line to the king's son himself, Pharaoh. Why am I here? Then he made some mistakes. Have you ever made any mistakes? I know I have. And he was exiled from the kingdom. He made some mistakes. Don't let mistakes stop you. Just because you've made a mistake, that's a comma, not a period.
Wow.
It's a comma, not a period. And he went into the desert to live for 40 years. And he became a sheep herder. And he married. And then he was called to say, let my people go.
Yes.
Why am I here? His purpose was not a baby on the Nile River. His purpose was not being a prince in the king's palace. His purpose was not being a sheep herder. But all of those led him to his purpose of fulfilling the will of God.
Yes, sir. What
is your purpose? Define your purpose. You may have worked a lifetime. You may have worked 30 years in a factory somewhere as an engineer, as an assembly line worker, as an educator, as a lawyer, as a doctor. And you think, I've achieved my purpose. And something comes upon you from listening to this tape, reading this book, watching the video, and your purpose is greater than that, and you have to start all over again. Fulfill your purpose. Find out what it is, for we are never meant to find, remember, a destination.
Yes, but a journey.
But a journey. Now we have many, M-I-N-I, many destinations within the journey. So the fact that you are a lawyer or an accountant or a dishwasher is just one destination.
Yes.
When you reach that, look for the next destination, and start that journey.
Yes.
And when you reach that, look for the next destination and start that journey, and so on until you are no longer here.
Wow.
So those are the types of things we want you to do. Discover your purpose on purpose. In other words, be particular about it. Find it as you want to find your next breath. A guy wanted to know God.
Okay.
He found a preacher. He says, I want to know God.
Mm-hmm.
And they were at the beach. And the preacher took him by the hand. He says, walk with me.
Yes.
And they walked until the water was knee high.
Mm-hmm.
He says, can I know God here? And the preacher looked at him and says, walk with me a little more. And he walked until the water got up to mid-thigh. And he stopped. He says, can I know God here?
Mm-hmm.
The preacher says, walk with me a little more. And they walked until the water was right under his neck.
Okay.
He says, can I know God here?
Yeah.
And the preacher put both his hands on his shoulder and pushed him under the water. And he held him there. And the guy began to squirm and shuffle and struggle, trying to get up, trying to breathe. And just before the guy breathed his last breath, the preacher ripped him up out of the water. He said, what'd you do that for? He says, well, when you want to know God as much as you wanted that next breath, then you'll be successful. My friends, when you want to know your purpose as much as that young man wanted to know his next breath, you will find it.
Wow. That's phenomenal. John, and you have a John F. Kennedy quote here. It's the quote.
Yeah, you read it earlier. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country.
That's it.
They work hand in hand. He's not saying your country's not going to do anything for you. What he's saying is the reverse. Do something for your country, and in turn, you'll have a better country that can then replenish you and give to you and give to your family. For things we do we have soldiers in every nation on earth that have fought and died in some type of conflict or war. And their country gives to those families of those fallen soldiers.
Yes.
Whether you receive it personally or not, doesn't mean you're not receiving it.
Yeah.
Someone's receiving it in your honor.
Of course.
Pay it forward. Don't look upon the selfishness. Do not be untied, but be united in all that you do. Start to rethink and redevelop your thinking
Yes.
into a unification model, into a new paradigm called I am one of many. Not I am alone. I am one of many. E pluribus unum.
Wow. That's
Out
powerful.
of many comes one.
Thank you, sir. It's been an amazing journey through chapter 4. And I look forward to going into chapter 5, which is how to model patriotism.
Let's get into the weeds.
And be sure to race to the next video where we'll be going over how to model patriotism.